Welcome back. Jess Martinson with Jeff Saran at Surecoat Systems Facebook Live. Sorry we had a little glitch a couple minutes ago, so hopefully we got that ironed out. So yeah, we got the thumbs up here, so we're live. So today we're gonna Jeff and I are gonna talk about frequently asked questions. I overhear him and Monique talking sometimes, or I'm in their offices, and a lot of times we're asked some of the same questions. So we thought we'd go through some of that stuff today and kind of talk about that and maybe explain it a little bit. So Jeff and I are just going to have a conversation about that today for you guys.
Well, here we go. I got about 15 questions that we put down. Hopefully we can get through them today. And also, if you guys want to send in or email or contact us and have any questions, please feel free to contact one of us here at the office. Okay, one of the first questions is, do I need to use fabric in your system?
So the short answer to that is yes. And we know that there's systems out there that don't require fabric, but we've researched those as well as we inspect and repair those systems. So it does a couple things, you guys. One, it increases the strength of the system and the flexibility. It's kind of similar to putting rebar in concrete. It just makes it a lot more durable, especially if there's movement in the system, like a plywood deck, or there's equipment on it, or there's just a lot of expansion and contraction. So we have over 15 years of these systems now that are out on the roofs with all kinds of service being done on mechanical units or foot traffic, and it's the right way to do it. And the other part of it it really helps you guys get a consistent mill thickness of coating down. So
Right.
that fabric, the way the system's designed, is designed to go in the middle of that coating, similar to a rebar, and it strengthens it and helps you guys get a consistent coat down. So you just don't have failures when there's that fabric in it. I think
Right.
all the stuff that I've seen, that we've done, I think I've only seen 3 failures in all the years of doing this, and they were all related to building movement, and it was a lot of building movement for it to get a tear in it. So yeah, do yourself a favor and make sure the fabric's in it, and that's the only way you get a warranty, by the way. And second of all, it's one of the ways to keep that system intact. And
Yeah, that's pretty much for just our standard flat roofs with different systems and that. But then we get into metal roofs, we really don't require the fabric, only around penetrations and many butt joints and areas like that will have those issues or movement. But yeah, you get the reflective properties still out of that, and then it's still, as far as coating, you're not using as much as you would with the fabric in there. But you got to account for the fabric when you're doing those penetrations, because you're still going to use a little more because you're coating underneath of it and on top of it to coat that fabric. So it's always want to add a little bit extra in there.
yeah, we're going to touch on that a little bit. One of the questions down the road ask about the thickness of the system, so we'll talk about that a little bit more later. But yeah.
Okay, let's go to question number 2. Okay, will your system hold up to cold weather as far as like snow and ice?
Yeah. So as far as the durability of the system in the cold, yes, it's done really well. We have systems right in
Canada,
yeah.
East Coast.
Yeah, up in the Northeast, Montana, there's a big shopping center
Yep.
down there. And that shopping center now, that roof's about probably 12 or 13 years old at this point. So yeah, it holds up really well. You just got to remember that as far as putting it down, installing it, we still have the regular criteria that I think we've talked about in the past. And if not, we'll talk about again during installation. But
I like using recommend the Sure Set on those applications, especially in the cold in those areas. I think it also gives a little more flexibility and as far as putting that down, especially you can usually runs into colder months when you want to do the application.
Right.
So putting that down really saves time, not to wait, and when you have a 3 or 4 day stretch and that to get that down with the warmer weather. So you can talk to us about that Sure Set. Okay, the next question: how long will the Surecoat system last?
Good question. That's a little bit open-ended. I mean, the first test roof that we did years ago when we did the reformulation, that was in 2003. So that roof's 18 years old, and it's been top coated in a few places years ago. But we've got lots of roofs now that have got to their birthdays, you know, to the 10 and 15-year marks, right? So yeah, they're lasting like they're supposed to with very little to no maintenance. That's the other key, you know, is that with the fabric in them and putting the full system on there, like we ask you to, those roofs are making it to their birthdays.
Okay, next question is, do you have local distribution?
Yeah, that's a good question, and that's you know, and in the beginning, I was one of the people that answered the phone here, and that was a question that we got all the time, and we decided not to do that for a couple of reasons. The main one is that we want you guys to have fresh product, so we don't have stuff sitting around in some of these supply houses, and the other part of it is if we ship product out to your local roofing supplier, someone's got to pay for the shipping, and ultimately it's going to be you. So it makes sense business-wise for us and for you to order the material through us, and we have a really good shipping department here. And actually Justin's sitting in today. He's producing the show today because Mo's out on
The
vacation.
river.
Yeah, so
Hey, Mo.
so Justin does a great job though of shopping rates and making sure that we get you as good a rate as we can and still get your coating to you. So it's worked really well for 15 years, and you know there's never been a better time really to ship than right now. That we were just talking about that with the COVID thing and everything that's being shipped across the country and delivered. There's really more options than there's ever been. So that's why we do it. You get fresh product. You talk to Jeff. He figures out what it's going to cost for your system and the shipping after Justin's given him the best deal that we can get, and you get fresh product there.
Yeah, also, you're working with distributors, you're working with a lot of counter help that really doesn't know the product as well. That's why we can stay on top of our jobs and really work with you as far as the installation and, make sure everything's going down, to our specifications. And it's just a good idea to, for us to keep an eye on our materials that are going out, and that's why we don't have claims. Because we do keep an eye on our product, and we'd like to make sure that you guys are comfortable putting the product down.
Yeah, the other thing that happens here is, with Jeff's background is that when, product goes out for a specific project like that, he follows up. So once you get your product and you get started, he usually follows up with you. And a lot of times you guys are fine, you're cruising along, but sometimes there's a question or a difficulty or you're struggling with something, and Jeff will check in with you and help you through these things. Because it really is, it really is a simple product to apply, and it's just a good way for us to stay in touch with you and to make this as easy as we can for you guys.
Okay, let's go to question number 5. Can I buy product and do smaller sections at a time?
Short answer again, yes, and this is done all the time, and I think this is one of the best attributes of this product. Besides the fact that it's really the most liquid waterproof product out there, that's VOC compliant. It's the other part of it is doing these sections. It can't delaminate from itself. If you overlap this, for instance, if you do all the drains, which is a common thing, right? We'll be working on a big building and do a 15-foot area around the drains, and then we'll come back later and splice into them, and basically the splice is just an overlap. Well, that 6 or 8 inches of overlap you have, you can't separate the first phase of that from the second phase once it's cured out. So yes, you can do sections. We do this on big buildings and small projects all the time. So absolutely, it's great for that. You guys you can seed your jobs by doing the repairs. Go ahead and talk about that for a minute.
I get a lot of customers, that have not used our product, and why should I use your product? And I don't know if I want to order for this big job right now. So we recommend, if you want, go ahead and do some areas, try the material out, play with it a little bit and see how it works, and then you're going to see that it does, and you're going to want to use it. So we love when you can go around and do the waterways, the ponding areas and that, and if it's a budget issue too, you can do partial, do that part of the roof and then put it in your budget to do the rest of it next year, or just break it up a little bit. But yeah, it does bond very well to itself, and I have a lot of customers and contractors out there that definitely do that. They they'll do partials and just keep out and then on each year, and especially when it starts getting into the weathering, And they need to do, they need to do the repairs and that, they'll get that done, and they'll see how it works, next thing you know, they're ordering to do the whole roof, so. Proof's
Yep.
in the pudding.
Yep, yeah, it's easy to do that with too, it's
Yeah.
great, and it gives your building owners, an option, right, as far as their budgets and all that stuff, so it works great.
Okay, next question is, how thick is your product?
So that question actually could be a couple things. One is if you're talking about how thick is it in the bucket, the liquid. Those of you that have worked with it before, you've seen it. It's thick. It's like a
Pancake batter.
milkshake,
Yep,
or pancake batter. It's a pretty thick. It's a pretty thick coating. And the first time I saw it, and the guys brought it over for us to spray, I kind of chuckled and was like,
Yeah.
This is not going through an airless. And anyway, so they tinkered with it, and again, this is way back in the early 2000s, but it's still thick like that. The viscosity of it's thick, but it flows and through a sprayer or off the roller and a brush really nicely. So it is a little thick, and I don't know if we were trying to get to the finished product.
I think they were, meaning on the finished product, with fabric.
Yeah, so that a minimal system, which is basically if you call in and talk to Jeff, he starts you out basically with a minimum system. You start talking about this.
So
It's
10-year, yeah.
Yeah, it's a 10-year. That's a minimum system, and so you gotta. That's why I like it when you guys call Jeff and talk to him, because if we know what substrate it is, what you've got, what you're going over, we can help you so you got enough material and you get enough of a system on there, you don't have any problems with it.
Yeah.
So the minimum system at 4 gallons a square plus the 10%, and your fabric is going to get you to between 55 and 60 mils.
Yeah.
And that's really important, guys. We don't want to go below that for your own good. A lot of those other systems are a lot thicker than this. But this is the same system from top to bottom, which helps with us with the waterproofing and adhesion. That's why it works.
Okay, next one is, how much weight is added to the roof?
Oh, good, yeah. So I had to do the math on this again. So basically with the solid content that we have, the finished product after it's cured out is 5.5 ounces per square foot. Okay, so. And if you talked about the whole square, right, the whole 100 square feet, it's approximately 35 pounds for 100 square feet. So it's not very heavy. And we have samples, right? You can call here and talk to Jeff or Monique, right, and get samples. We hand out or mail out cured samples so you guys can see and weigh it for yourself. But it's very lightweight as opposed to more built up product. It's way lighter than that.
Okay, next question is, how long do you warranty your system?
So we have 10 and 15-year warranties available. So when here's the other thing, when you guys are gonna do a system that you need a warranty on, there's some criteria for that. So you need to call Jeff. We've got a pretty simple, in my opinion, single page of requirements that need to be done for you guys to get your warranties. And basically, to get from a 10 to a 15-year warranty, what we found is that once the base of this material is put on, the first 4.5 gallons a square, the fabric's already embedded in it, and to extend the life of it to 15 years, it doesn't require any more fabric. It requires more coating, and basically it's a protective coat.
Right.
Everything that you leave out in the sun is going to wear one way or another. It's going to have some wear to it. So basically, the extra coating is to basically take care of the sunburn part of that surface that's exposed to the UV for all those years. And we've had several. Actually, I have roofs right now that are 12 and 13. That haven't been top coated yet. Some of them because they've changed ownership, and they haven't gone around to it, and they're still functioning, but they need to be done.
Yeah, all our warranties are also, they're renewable, so, and not prorated, so you gotta look at that. When you're looking at other manufacturers and products like that, you really gotta look at the fine print. We state everything in our warranty. If you like, you can contact us and I'll send you a copy of our warranty. We'd love for you to look at it and review it. We've also done comparisons too, so You can talk to us about that.
We're gonna do a warranty show. We
Yep.
need to do that because there's some specific things you guys need to know that we can really be helpful, you know. This isn't the cheapest system you can buy, but it has the best warranty you can get. And we need to explain that so you guys, when you go to sell it, it's a lot easier sell for you guys, so.
Okay, can your product be sprayed?
Yes,
Yeah.
so here's the thing about that too. So again, you guys that are contractors or been in the construction business, you know there's grades of sprayers. And it takes a commercial type sprayer though. No offense, but the little residential sprayers, this product's not gonna go through
Right.
a half-inch pickup tube and through a quarter-inch line. So it's gotta have a lot better intake in it, and we have all those.
Yeah, we have the list of the
Yeah.
sprayers and tips and all that information that you need, so you can contact us on that.
Yeah.
Okay, the next one is, do you have other colors than white?
Yeah, we have a standard color chart that's changed a little bit over the years because of tents and all those fun things. But yeah, so we have a standard color chart, and we have a lot of what I would consider popular colors. So,
Right.
yep, contact us and we can let you know what we have.
If you need a color chart, let us know. Okay, next one, does the coating have an R value?
At this point, there's still not a rating for paints or coatings to have R values. They have reflectance values, and we have a very high reflective value in this coating, and it has a very high emissivity rating. And basically, what that means is the sun beating directly on it basically gets reflected, and the heat gets emitted off of it. So it doesn't transfer through the surface that it's on. And we had some really good videos of that with the fire, with the little torch, so I don't know
Right.
that we still have them online or not, but it's very highly rated there, and if they ever figure out an R rating for this kind of stuff, then we'll definitely get one, and this is gonna perform really well. It's at the top of its.
Oh,
it's
here's
at
a
the
good
top of
one. I just talked to a contractor the other day. I guess there was it says, does your system hold up to hail? And we just got pictures of just recently in Texas, they had some hail that was just huge. And it went right completely through the roof, and damaged that right through the drywall. And I'll let Jess touch base a little bit on that.
Yeah, so that was pretty crazy. So we've seen a lot of we get some really cool pictures from you guys. That was pretty incredible. The hail that we saw, the few of those stones were like a little bigger than a baseball, and some were bigger than that, but they went right through the built up, right through the plywood, and right through the sheetrock, and ended up in the building. That's incredible. I've not seen that before.
Yeah.
But we've had some of our systems in New Mexico and Oklahoma and places there where it's had some really large hail really beat on it. And those systems with the fabric in them, they just have to be cleaned and top coated, and they'll reseal. So it didn't lose the integrity of the system. The base system of it was still good. Now, I'm not saying it would hold up to the baseball ones. I don't know what would happen.
Yeah.
But we also discussed that with that reinforcing in it, for it to get
Definitely
through
gonna help,
there, yeah, it's not going to end up on the carpet, I don't think.
Right.
So it's a very durable system.
Okay, well, I think we're running out of time. Oh, you want to keep going?
Yeah,
Okay, we'll keep
there's
going.
three. Let's finish
Okay,
these
we got a
three.
couple more. Okay, does the coating hold up to ponding water?
The short answer again is yes, and this is one of the primary things that when we developed this coating system, that we went to the marine industry for them to get us the correct resins to make this work. So it was not developed by a paint company or engineers or designers that make paint. It's people that are in the marine industry that deal with water and moisture and high humidity things all the time. So the resins that are in this are the things that make it a little more expensive than what you see at the big box stores, but it's also what makes it work. And we have literally thousands of photos of these roofs that are cured out with water standing on them. So it's the thing that sets us aside from everybody else.
The next question is, can I coat over other coatings?
Again, the answer to that is yes, with the exception of silicone. So we're going to do a show about that also.
Runs that out a lot.
Yeah, so we run into a lot of acrylic coatings that are failing in pond areas, anywhere place where there's water that's standing and the acrylic comes off. I got foam roof pictures in yesterday, matter of fact, where the acrylic's failing, and so it's exposed to foam, and we know what happens when that comes up. Then we've got foam failures all over and leaks, and it's a mess. But yeah, we can go over just about every other coating out there, with the exception of silicone, and we're working on a remedy for that now. We've actually fixed a few of those roofs, and we're trying to get something that's simple that you guys can use. But yes, we can. So if you have to go over something, another coating system out there, give Jeff a call.
Okay, the last question for today is, can I install your system over plywood or OSB?
Yes, and here's the thing, guys. Though we've done this. We don't. First of all, we don't warranty that, and here's why. The framing underneath the deck system is critical, and there's no way for us to monitor or prove what's under there. So really, we ask you to put a base sheet. A lot of guys just put that self-adhering base sheet down, and then put our system over it. But the problem with putting it over just plywood is if the spacing's too big on the joists and it's not solid blocked all the way around, there's just too much movement, natural movement, and then especially if it's getting walked on. We actually have a couple of pictures of that. I have a picture of that one. There's a shed roof that was done that's fine, it doesn't leak, right? But if it had foot traffic on it with those joints and all that stuff in there, it's
Yeah,
going
that
to
happens a lot,
damage.
especially with the gap, and you have your TNG, but when you have the butt joints and it's not gapped properly and sealed, expansion, contraction, that's what you'll see in decking too, and a lot of roofing, when they just put coatings on, you'll see it transfer through, I mean, almost right away.
Right.
You know, one season.
Yeah, so it's not very expensive though to use use that base sheet, or even the regular the thick roofing base. You can use that, and it just acts like a slip sheet and isolates our system from the plywood, and you still get the waterproofing part of it that we provide, and the cooling part that we provide, and the strength. It's just not right to the plywood, so the plywood can't tear it up. So.
Well, I think we're done for today. If you have any other questions, please feel free to contact us. We'll do another show on the frequently answered questions, or frequently asked questions. And we didn't touch base on our wall coatings and that, so we can do that too. Put some, the frequently asked questions on that too as well. But next 2 more weeks, and we'll be back again. And like I said, if you want to contact us, 877-823-7873. You can give us a call, and we look forward to seeing you next couple weeks.
All right. Till next time.